Hello friends, welcome to this session. In this session I am going to talk about AWS Application Composer. AWS Application Composer is a great tool by AWS which will allow you to visually design and build the serverless application quickly. There are a lot of great feature in this AWS Application Composer. So first, how you can start this AWS Application Composer? You need to log in into AWS console, and after that you need to search here Application Composer, and then you will get the screen of the AWS Application Composer. AWS Application Composer allow you to build a serverless application architecture visually by using a drag and drop approach. So it will be like easy way to accelerate your architecture creation and configuration and serverless application development journey by using this visual tool. So you have to perform set of steps in this tool, like you have to drag and drop your serverless services you want to utilize in your project, like a API gateway or a Lambda function or a DynamoDB or any other services, and then after you need to configure those services, and once you configure those services you need to connect those resources, and after that you will have auto generated infrastructure as a code in CloudFormation and AWS SAM way in the YML format, and it will be generated with the best practices infrastructure as a code. So here this is the GUI of the Application Composer in AWS console. So so if you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe my channel for supporting me for more exciting technical content. Appreciated your support. Also, I want to announce this AWS Application Composer is now generally available as per the AWS announcement on 7th March, and this AWS Application Composer is now available on this limited region, like few US region, few Asia region, and also in Europe region. So this is a really great tool if anyone are new to the serverless pattern and serverless application development. They are easily able to build the architecture visually by using this tool, and they are able to generate the infrastructure as a code, which is a best practice code, and they are easily able to provision or provision their serverless application. So let me show you that steps quickly here, how you can create a project in Application Composer. So this is a visual GUI of the Application Composer. Let me create a new project in this. So when we start a new project in Application Composer, we get this screen like this. What type of project you want to, like you want to build a new project or you want to load any existing project. For example, for now we can start a new project, so we can get idea how we can build that visually. So we are creating new blank project. There are this is a good feature in the Application Composer, like you are able to connect your local folder with the Application Composer. So as soon as you drag and drop resources and you build your serverless architecture, infrastructure as a code generated in SAM or CloudFormation auto sync with your local folder by when you choose connected way, and if you choose unconnected, it will be not connect to your local folder. So it is good way, like you can connect your local folder while you are building the visual architecture IAC. So for now I can select my local folder. Here I have created one folder in my local. So in this folder currently no any files, so let me select this folder. So you can see this folder is selected, and now I am creating the so it is by default creating the template.yml file, and that file will be loaded here. Okay, so if I see this folder, this file is auto created, and now I am opening this my local folder into side by Visual Studio Code. So here I open that my local serverless app demo folder into this Visual Studio Code editor. So here you can see, like, this is a blank IAC template file. There are no any code in this file right now. The YML file is blank, and as soon as we do some drag and drop architecture pattern design in the application composer, it will auto generate the infrastructure as a code. Okay, so let me create some use case, the simple to use case to understand this, how this tool worked, application composer work. So for now, let's say we can build some basic scenario where we can do some operations like API development in the AWS by using API gateway, Lambda function, and DynamoDB. So first I am creating the API gateway endpoint. So here you can see I drag and drop the API. So as soon as drag and drop these resources of API gateway, I get different options here to set. And if we see the templates here, this code is auto generated. This is like SAM and CloudFormation code auto generated. If we see here in local file, this file is already open in my online Visual Studio Code editor. So here this is my local file, and you can see this code is generated, like we drag and drop the API gateway. So here we have this AWS Serverless API gateway infrastructure as a code generated, and here we have like the standard formats are set for the stage and the also the path for the default method. So right now we have one path set, but let's now we can update that path and we can add more configuration into that. Say for example, we can build some CRUD APIs. So let us give some, let us change this configuration. So here we are able to change different configuration like logical ID. Even we are able to add the authorizer for the security with the API endpoint. So right now I am adding the say for example I am adding one route, say for example items route with the get method, and there are a lot of options available, but for now right now we are using simple options to understand this tool. So here I just created a one routes. So now if we see template here or in our local, because we have connected, you can see we have one path items created, and right now it is not linked with any other Lambda function or anything. So this is a like SAM and CloudFormation template generated auto as soon as we are doing some operations. So here we created one endpoint, say items, and now let us connect this endpoint with the Lambda function. So I am drag and drop the Lambda function, and here let us give this Lambda function name. So here after drag and drop, when we double click on particular resource, we are able to edit the different options here for the Lambda function as well. Let me give here name get items logical ID, and let me arrange that. So we are somehow the another functions get added. For now let me delete it, and let me change this function. So we given a name get item, here we are able to do some changes for a packet type if we want, There are here also we can say get items for the source path. We can select runtime for now Node.js 18.x. This is an architecture pattern we are able to choose. Based on that, our billings will apply like Graviton, ARM, or 86. This is a handler functions. We are able to even add layers. We are able to change the memory size and timeout. Say for example, we can set for now memory size 128, and let me save it. So here we have like this Lambda functions created, an API gateway is there. Let us group it. This Lambda functions, we can say API compute. Okay, so let me give this a API compute name, and now let us, if we see here, now we have this this much code auto generated. If we see in local, so far we was having only this API gateway code, right? Now we have this get item Lambda functions code generated. So this is a API code, API gateway code, and this is a infrastructure as a code, and this is a get item Lambda functions code generated. And here you can see like also the handler and their relevant code path and memory size be given 128, so that is also impacted here. And so these are the like auto generated code. Even we added a group, so group meta also generated here. And for now we did not link this path route with the Lambda function, so let us, once we link this, it will auto generate this infrastructure as a code. So now I am linking this endpoint with the Lambda function. Okay, so here you can see this endpoint I link with the get item function. So now if we go back to here, either here or we have a connected mode open, so we are able to easily check here as well. So you can see like now we have this item path is auto linked with the URI of the Lambda function. So we have a like API integration, API endpoint integration with the Lambda function proxy. So we are able to call the Lambda functions through the API gateway endpoint after this architecture design. Okay, so the main thing is like we have easily generated this infrastructure as a code as soon as we are doing different drag and drop operation and the resource configuration or a connection. So that way, like we are able to add more routes. Say for example, let add post method. So this is a get this we can say get item, or we can say let's give this a name list item for now. So let us for now give this a name. Here we given a group. So here we given a get item. Let's say here we can give list item. Same way here we can say list item, and let's save it. So if we see here, we have a like this code is auto updated. We have a here list item, and same way name is updated, resource name like list item. Here we can see we given a code path src list item. We have a auto generated this list item here. So if we click on this list item, we have this package.json and also the Node.js default handler function created. And now let's add more routes into API gateway. Let me add a post method for items creation, and let me add a few more, say for example put. We can add delete, we can add so we have a get all items, post item, put item, delete item. Let's save it. So now we have a like this different endpoints created: post item, get item, post that is for creating items, put item, and delete item. So this is for updating item, and let us add one more route, say for example get specific item. Okay, so we have a get all list of item, create item, update item, delete item, and get specific item. So now we can add more Lambda functions here. So here we are adding total 5 Lambda functions. Okay, and we are giving them a name accordingly, like first is a list item. Now let us give another create item. Here we can give create item. We can select node 18.x. We can change memory if we want, and timeout. Let's save it. Now let us add another more Lambda functions configuration. So we have a delete item, and we can give here delete item and save the configuration. Another one we have is get item. So here we can also set that get item with the handler code and save it. And here we can give it a update item, and here also we can give the update item for path and save it. So now we have this different functions added here, and let us okay, so now we have these different functions added here, and let us link this different functions. If now we can see the code in the template. So we have now this new code generated, auto generated by Application Composer, that list item. Then we have a create item, Lambda function, and then we have a delete item Lambda function. We have a get specific item Lambda function, update item Lambda function. So this all code are auto generated, and these are the different routes also created here. And now we are linking that. Okay, right now no, here not generated the code for proxy integration. So now let us link post item with the create item, put item with the update item, delete item with the delete item use case, and get item with the get item use case. So now if we see the code, we have this all the infrastructure as a code generated for API gateway to Lambda proxy integration automatically in the Composer CloudFormation or SAM format. And if now let us add the resource of DynamoDB to save the data for building the end-to-end use case of API. So here let us give this table a name, say for example item. Okay, and primary key we can give ID, we are able to select the partition key type and all those things. Sort key we are able to define. Let's save it, and we have this DynamoDB table created for this use case, and we are able to link it. Okay, so let us link. So if we go to the code now, we will have in resources, we have a API gateway resources created, we have a list of Lambda functions created, and recently we added the DynamoDB table, right? So if you see, we have an item AWS DynamoDB table created with the different attributes here. And now let us link this with the SAM table, SAM DynamoDB for all the use cases. Okay, so if we can now see the code here, we can see like in the Lambda functions list item, we have this infrastructure as a code generated. Even after adding this DynamoDB link, we link with the DynamoDB this Lambda function. You can see we have this policy generated for a DynamoDB permission to that particular table. So whenever we want to do any operation on DynamoDB for any specific Lambda function, we need permission to that DynamoDB table. So those permission also taken care with the policy while we creating the visual way, designing the drag and drop way, designing the architecture in Application Composer. So this is good thing, like whatever permission need by Lambda function, that is also generated here. Even you can add so this is a like end-to-end flow for any CRUD operations like get items, list item, update item or delete item, and so all these are visually we generated visually here in the Application Composer, and we have a like great way generated the infrastructure as a code in CloudFormation and the SAM framework, and we are easily able to deploy by using SAM this code. Like we can do SAM build and SAM deploy this code once we already have this template, right? So after that we are easily able to deploy this code and provision our all these resources and in the AWS. Even we are able to add like SNS kind of use case as well. Say for example send notification. So we can say send notification logical ID to this, and as soon as someone create the product and we want to send the notification to SNS, so those kind of things also generated the auto. So you can see like now we have a new resources infrastructure as a code auto generated here. So you can see like send notification type SNS topic. So if we see here, we have this for this Lambda function create item, we have this environment variable also created properly for the SNS topic. And another thing is like we have a policy also added for SNS operations. So SNS publish message permission also granted here. So that is good way. Like here we also have this create and delete, and all those codes are generated right like with the basic handler function file. So we can like easily deploy this infrastructure as a code. So this is a really great tool. There are a lot of things that will come up in this tool, but if you are someone are new or want to accelerate the architecture design journey in the serverless application framework, this is a really great visual way to design the application, and a fantastic tool released generally by the AWS. Here these are the different current supported services: API Gateway, Cognito User Pool Client, DynamoDB, Event Bridge, there is a kindness stream, S3 bucket, Lambda, of course, SNS, SQS, and step function, and there are a lot of things will more configurable come up, but this is a really great way and great tool from AWS. And one thing is there are no any upfront cost for this tool. It is a free, and only thing is if you are deploy resources, that is only cost to you when we deploy your resources like API Gateway or DynamoDB in serverless application. But this tool is a completely free tool from AWS. This is a great tool. Please, if you are serverless enthusiastic, always try and explore this tool. And if you want to learn more about SAM or a CDK or a serverless framework or infrastructure as a code, explore my channel. If you want to learn about basic API, explore my channel. I have added a lot of other technical content relevant to this IAC and API development in serverless trend. Please like this video, support me by subscribing my channel. Appreciated your support. Thank you so much for your time, and if you have any suggestion, please put a comment in this video, and appreciated you like and subscribe this my channel for supporting me, and share this video with your friends for selling knowledge. Thank you so much for watching this.